So I was watching Trump speak the other day, and I noticed something that always bothered me about him. Now I know that all presidents have speechwriters, but Trump makes it obvious that he is reading from a script and that he has no true connection to the words that he's stumbling over and repeating to the American public.
Mitigation measures we are putting in place may significantly reduce the number of new infections and ultimately the number of fatalities. I want the American people to know that your selfless, inspiring, and valiant efforts are saving countless lives. You are making the difference.
One of the main premises of this body of work since its inception has been to show the world that all of the major events that we experience nationally and globally are all connected and scripted to occur exactly as they happen. The reason being, these events are all part of a much larger satanic ritual being performed in front of your eyes. From the time that the Declaration of Independence was signed in 1776, this country in the New World was formed, and George Washington became its president. This was a satanic ritual. We know that a large majority of the founding fathers of this country were Satan-worshipping Freemasons. So were a majority of United States presidents as well. When George Bush Sr. announced the New World Order on September 11, 1990, this was a satanic ritual.
We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order.
We know the destruction of the Twin Towers on 9/11 was a satanic ritual. Remember, George Bush read the pet goat as the children in unison recited a satanic spell.
Yes, kite, get ready. Plane. Yes, plane, get ready. Must. Yes, must. Hit. Yes, hit, get ready. Steal. Yes, steal, get ready. Get ready, get ready, get ready.
The destruction of the Twin Towers and the building of the One World Tower in its place was symbolic of the destruction of the Old World Order and the building of the New World Order upon its ashes. The man selected to crown this One World Order was none other than Barack Obama. Obama also chose September 11th to declare himself as God.
Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth.
The iPad Goat video showed us the rise of the anti-Messiah and the collapse of the church. This was followed up by the actual collapse of the spire at Notre Dame Cathedral. The name Notre Dame means Our Lady and refers to the Virgin Mary. However, since this is a Catholic church, we know that they worship the Madonna, who is a reference to the virgin whore of Babylon, Isis or Ishtar, and connects to the fall of America as Mystery Babylon. Madonna gave a performance at the Super Bowl where she symbolically gave birth to number 44, the Nephilim giant who defeated the Patriots. Madonna also told us that the coronavirus is the great equalizer, as she sat immersed in a ritual bath known as a mikveh, an aspect of cleansing in preparation of rising to the level of Binah.
It's the great equalizer.
Binah is intuitive understanding or contemplation. It is linked to a place of mirrors that reflects the pure point of light of wisdom. It is associated with the feminine or higher mother as the goddess Sophia in Gnosticism. This is what the G that sits in the middle of the square and compass symbolizes. The phrase, the great equalizer, is a reference to death in a poem by Francis Dugan. Death incarnate is a reference to Satan himself and connects back to the Black Mamba.
I'd like to introduce my friend, the Black Mamba. Black Mamba, this is Bud. Only with the Mamba is death sure. Hence its handle, Death Incarnate.
This connects to Kobe Bryant, the Black Mamba's death from a crash on Las Virgins, or the Virgins Road. Keeping our attention on the GOAT, Newsweek declared Obama as the god of all things and connected him to Shiva, the destroyer. This connects him back to Apollyon or Abaddon, found in Revelation 9:11, the beast that rises from the bottomless pit. It should be noted that the first reported case of coronavirus here in America occurred on January 19th.
South Korea and the US had their first official confirmed case on the same date, January 19th.
Which, when reversed, gives us the number 9/11. CNN anchor Chris Cuomo referred to the coronavirus that dwells within him as the beast.
How you doing,
Chris?
How you feeling?
I'm doing well. The beast comes at night. You know, as we know, the healthcare workers have taken to calling the virus the beast.
The name Chris Cuomo actually means Christ usurper and is a reference to the Antichrist or the beast 666. Just last year, the script highlighted the marathon, Victory Lap, and Nipsey Hussle, another celebrity who was used to represent the false Christ.
They say God will rise. God will rise.
This was connected to the Boston Marathon, where the winners were given coronas or victory crowns. This was meant to connect back to Obama's speech at Victory Tower, where the angel holds a victory wreath. This is the place Obama took his victory lap to be crowned King of the New World Order.
Well, there have been extraordinary scenes in Berlin tonight as thousands of people gathered to hear Barack Obama deliver key foreign policy speech on his current European tour. The Democratic presidential hopeful laid out his vision for America's place in a new world order.
He is the personification of Revelation 6:2, the rider on the white horse who receives his corona or crown. He is the incarnation of death. Revelation 9:11, the supernatural disclosure of his true identity, the king of the bottomless pit, the dark night rising. Interestingly enough, I found these anomalies in the movie Unlocked, which is about a false flag biological attack that is carried out by a rogue U.S. government organization that attempts to release a deadly virus into the public. Images of Obama are featured prominently in the movie. They also make sure to display the all-seeing eye and the pyramid, which connects back to the pyramid and all-seeing eye tattoo we saw on Tom Hanks' son when he spoke about the coronavirus. The bad guy in the movie goes on to explain that this is all being done in an effort to set up the New World Order.
Why are you doing this?
Math, lives lost versus lives saved.
That's simple, huh?
Always. Even if it takes going the extra distance.
How far is that? How many dead?
Enough to get our attention. Global viruses are the biggest threat behind it. Washington.
It's funny how it sounds a lot like what Bill Gates said.
Today, the greatest risk of global catastrophe doesn't look like this. Instead, it looks like this. If anything kills over 10 million people in the next few decades, it's most likely to be a highly infectious virus rather than a war. Not missiles, but microbes.
It's an American affliction. You know, they truck bombed the World Trade Center in '93. It takes 9/11 to make an impression. Ebola hops across the Atlantic, and we ignore that warning too.
And do what exactly?
Legalize what's needed for the next time. Forced isolation of all contacts, quarantine camps, and the troops to secure them. Real-time access to private medical records.
You're talking about medical martial law.
The movie Unlocked connects back to Kanye West's album Jesus is King and his use of Roden Crater, which is a volcano made into a work of art and resembles a keyhole, which is a reference to the prison of the bottomless pit. The word unlocked then refers to the unlocking and opening of this pit and the rise of the king of the bottomless pit from his prison. Interestingly enough, on April 3rd, 2020, rapper 6ix9ine was released from prison due to the coronavirus pandemic. The key to his prison cell was unlocked. So, this morning, April 4th, or 4/4, a reference to number 44, Obama, Tekashi 6ix9ine woke up a free man, released from prison. 6ix9ine's name, which is spelled with the number 6, the letters IX, which is 9 in Roman numerals, the number 9, and the suffix INE, which means of the nature or like. Therefore, his name actually means one who has the nature of 666, the beast. This means Tekashi represents one who has the beast inside, a reference to the coronavirus, which is the reason he was released from prison.
How you doing,
Chris?
How you feeling?
I'm doing well. The beast comes at night. You know, as we know, the healthcare workers have taken to calling the virus the beast.
The media also told us about a 6-month-old baby named Leo who contracted the virus and survived, along with a 102-year-old Italian woman, Italica Grandana, who supposedly contracted coronavirus and recovered. The ages listed, or the numbers 6 and 102, gives us the number 666 because 6 plus 6 equals 12. The baby named Leo is a reference to the Lion King. Remember, Obama referred to himself as such.
I am releasing my official birth video.
The fact that she is 102 years old makes her a centenarian. This connects back to the Century 16 shooting at the Dark Knight Rises movie and the mass shooting at Saugus High School, whose mascot is a centurion. The name Italica means oblique, something that is not stated directly, or to view something from a slanted perspective. The last name Grandana gives us the phrase, "Oh, the dragon," when we rearrange the letters. They are telling you that Obama is the dragon, Satan.
I want to thank
God is the one and only true living God, the creator of heaven and the universe. Jesus Christ is God. Jesus Christ is God. Jesus Christ is the Son of God. Jesus Christ is the Son of God.
I agree.
Let's just marinate on that for a minute. Interestingly enough, the doctors called this woman the Highlander, the immortal. The name Highlander is a reference to a film which chronicles the climax of an ages-old battle among immortal warriors depicted through interwoven past and present-day storylines. It should be noted that Highlanders or immortal warriors can be killed only by decapitation. This is a reference to the martyrs or saints who are killed by decapitation during the tribulation period. During the French Revolution, the guillotine provided a convenient method of execution for those in charge. Back in 2013, there were rumors that Obamacare medical codes confirmed that execution by beheading would be implemented in the United States. Now that a majority of the United States population and people in countries all over the world are under a quasi-quarantine through stay-at-home orders, we are all gathered into our homes. But why do they want us to stay at home? We'll get to that in a moment. But first, I want you to realize something. People all over the world have been ordered to go back to their own nation, and people in every nation across the globe have been put under some sort of restrictions due to the coronavirus and are held up in their homes.
COVID-19 has killed more than 6,000 people around the world. As cases spike, some countries are taking radical action by closing borders and imposing mandatory quarantines on anyone arriving from overseas.
Don't you find it ironic that this is occurring at the same time that the 2020 census is about to be taken? Did you know that when Satan stood against Israel, he incited David to number or take a census of Israel, which was evil in the sight of Yah? See 1 Chronicles chapter 21, verses 1 through 7. Were you also aware of ID 2020, the attempt to make a legal global identity for all people?
ID 2020 is a global strategic initiative aiming to help deliver against the United Nations sustainable goal of legal identity for all.
But why is Satan calling a census to number not only Israel, but the entire world? Because Satan knows that the return of Messiah is fast approaching, and he is expecting the harpazo to occur in the very near future. The dragon is anticipating that the 144,000 of Yah's elect will be sealed and taken, just as it declares in Revelation 7, chapter 4 through 8, which is then followed up by the harpazo of the great multitude from all nations and kindreds of people, which no man could number. This is why they are ordering people to stay in their homes, because they do not want you to see the harpazo when it happens. Moreover, they will explain the disappearance of the 144,000 and the multitudes which no man could number with the excuse that they all died because of coronavirus. This is the plan of the enemy. This is the script that they are following. The funny thing is that they think that they wrote the script, when the truth is, the Most High is the author and finisher of the entire plan. 4 days from now, April 8th, marks the beginning of the celebration of Passover, which lasts until April 16th. During the first Passover, the Jews were told to select for themselves a lamb without spot or blemish. That lamb was to be slain, and the blood of the lamb placed on the doorposts of the home. In so doing, the inhabitants inside of the home would be sealed and protected from the plague of death that would smite the firstborn of every man and beast in all of Egypt as a judgment from Yah. Isaiah 26:20 declares, "Come, my people, enter thou into thy chambers, and shut thy doors about thee. Hide thyself, as it were, for a little moment, until the indignation be overpast." Soon the door to heaven and salvation will be shut in the tribulation period will begin. If you have not given your life to the Most High by accepting the blood sacrifice of the Paschal Lamb, Yahushua HaMashiach, the time to do so is now. Amen. Shalom.